Lifestyle right here with your hosts, Whoopi Goldberg, Nicolle Wallace, Rosie Perez, and Rosie O'Donnell. It all starts now on The View.
Saying welcome to The View is sort of dumb, because you know welcome to The View, good morning. You know, one of the hottest topics that continue to, like, keep our attention is the Ebola outbreak. So today we've got Dr. Richard Besser here with us, who just returned from Africa to tell us everything we need to know later on in Hot Topics. And I gotta tell you, he's clean, I'm comfortable. But let's start with some really spectacular news. Yesterday, the Supreme Court made a surprise decision to let appeals court rulings on same-sex marriage stand. I think folks were kind of shocked because it's such a conservative court. But why do you think they just said, look, leave it?
Yeah.
Why?
You were listening to NPR, right? They said at first that they thought they did it by accident.
Yeah, they said on NPR, one of the reporters says that the Supreme Court unintentionally did not make a ruling. I said, no, I think that was very intentional.
Exactly. Very intentional and very wonderful, because now, you know, guess what? It's going to be the law of the land, and you can't really hold back the tide. And, you know, with liberty and justice for all.
Not quite everyone, though. What the ruling did, I think some people on the front lines in this fight for marriage equality had wished they had done more. What they did was they refused to hear appeals.
Yeah.
So that means that it's not in every state. We now have a majority of Americans live in states where marriage equality is the law of the land.
Yeah, we have that little map up there.
Right. It is not the case. There are still hopes that they will do something more aggressive. But this is very consistent with this court. Chief Justice Roberts is a conservative, but he's not unaware of the mood in the nation. And I think that's what is going to make him so fascinating. And I think he's acutely aware that his legacy will include doing more than anyone else in this country ever has to make marriage equality the law of the land.
Yeah. You know, it was so amazing.
Work on the Voting Rights Act as well.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
You know, what was amazing is how quiet the Republicans were. You know, they came out very hard against this, and yesterday you just only heard one little peep.
Well, Republicans are the only ones evolving on this issue. I mean, when President Obama was first elected, he wasn't where he is now. He wasn't an advocate for marriage equality. But I think Republicans recognize that even at 70% of evangelical Christians, which traditionally make up part of the Republican base, 70% of them under 30 support marriage equality. In 10 years, you will not even be able to find two people to debate it. In 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's just an issue that I think, like a lot of issues, like climate, the younger generation will save us from the hardened debates that we've seen in our lives.
And also, I think that as more Republicans, as you said, come out,
well, that's the other thing,
becomes,
right?
It becomes a personal thing. And don't email me, don't tweet me. There are Republicans who are gay. Sorry.
Yeah, tons of them.
So before you start, you know, and I say it because, you know, people love to, oh, I can't believe she's jumping on her. I wasn't. I'm just saying.
Well, let me just second what you're saying. And Ted Olson, who's the Republican lawyer who fought Prop 8, which was the terrible law in California that would have banned gay marriage, was George W. Bush's top lawyer in the Bush administration. So Republicans at the highest level of the fight and at the grassroots levels are part of the fight for marriage equality.
I can tell you, as being a 52-year-old woman, right, like when the Edie Windsor case went and we actually, the Supreme Court ruled in the favor of Edie Windsor and her partner. I was in therapy, right? So it happened, and I was very emotional, was crying. I cry a lot, newsflash. And I went outside the parking lot, and there are two young girls in their teenage years holding hands. And I stopped them, and I'm like, excuse me, are you, like, in high school? Yeah, I'm a senior, she's a junior. I'm like, and you're dating? They're like, yeah. I'm like, and your parents know? They go, yes. I'm like, and the school knows? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, this is so beautiful, you know. And one girl's like, Lori, get behind me. Okay, lady.
But here's the thing. What state was that in?
New York.
See, it's not common in other states, especially in the Southern Belt, and there's a lot of gay teens that are suffering because of the prejudice.
Yes.
You know, so that, I mean, it's wonderful, but we are talking New York. So things are changing, but
they are, and they're changing through. I mean, they are changing throughout the state. They may not be as fast or as quickly recognizable, but change is coming. And as you said, you cannot stem this tide. It is coming whether you're comfortable with it or not. And just for all you folks who are deep Christians, as I recall, as a child, I went to Catholic school, you know. I remember Jesus had a lot of different kind of friends. Jesus never turned anybody away. So I'm just saying, that's what I remember. Yeah, how about this, you know, because President Obama's former CIA defense director has been pretty harsh in his criticism about the boss, claiming that the president has lost his way when he pulled the U.S. troops out of Iraq early because it created a vacuum in a region that's allowed ISIS to grow. Well, why is he saying this now?
So this sounds a lot like a Republican critique of President Obama. President Obama's previous defense secretary, Secretary Gates, was also very harsh, a harsh critic of the Obama foreign policy record. The argument they're making, it's actually a conversation we've all had together, is that when you draw a red line, as President Obama did in Syria, he said, if you use chemical weapons, we're going to do something. America's not going to stand for that. He chose not to enforce the red line. That's the thrust of Panetta's criticism, that the repercussions would be what they would be for all of us with our kids if we draw a red line and we don't enforce it, that America lost respect in the world. The politics on this, and there are always politics, in my mind, the other master that Leon Panetta has served for more than a decade is someone by the last name of Clinton. So I personally think that there are some 2016 presidential politics at play there. He is with Hillary Clinton. I think he's sort of testing a message that he thinks Hillary will need to trot out if she's going to differentiate himself. Obama has a 30%, about a 37% approval rating on foreign policy, so she's going to have to be different.
But don't you think that the reason that ISIS was created was because when Saudi hijackers attacked us, we invaded a different country that had nothing to do with it? That would incite people to radicalize? Right? Why is it taking the troops out that caused?
Well, the one thing about ISIS is no American president of any party does anything to make terrorists hate us. Because what they hate about us is our values, our way of life.
I don't believe that.
They hate our freedom.
I've heard that on Fox News a lot, but I don't believe that. I think that the reason
we do things to make them mad and
I think we have to be responsible for our actions. And if Saudi hijackers did what they did on 9/11, you don't invade Iraq and kill innocent people in the process.
What do you think we should have done instead?
Let me put you on hold for a second. We'll come back and finish this conversation because I know it's meaningful. We'll be right back with more Hot Topics.
A cop pulled over a mom who didn't have her child in a car seat, and you won't believe the turn this traffic stop took next. And Dr. Richard Besser is back from the hot zone in Africa to take on the hottest topic, the risk of an Ebola outbreak in America.
So it's love Little John. That was a PSA that I did with Little John, talk about Rock the Vote. But as we're talking about Rock the Vote, I wanted to come back to at least finish up the discussion because you were about to make a point.
Yeah, like here's my point as a mom. I think you can never do anything to kill an innocent child. That's what I think. A child that's alive. Adults do horrible things to each other. But once you drop a bomb somewhere and you kill a baby, I'm sorry, it's over for me. I know what those people did in those planes were horrific, but I don't think by killing each other we're going to solve the world's problems.
Well, here's the question that I have, because I think it's not even about going after folks. As soon as you destabilize a section of the world, other elements come in, and that's what we did. We destabilized. As much as people hated Saddam, taking him out maybe wasn't the best thing to do, and it's a discussion.
It's a discussion. And the last thing I'd say, I mean, we're going to have this conversation many mornings because there are going to be flashpoints more times than we would want there to be. But Egypt is another example of that. Different circumstances, but it was destabilized, and there are more people living in poverty. The economy is in shambles, and so change is brutal on the people that live there.
It's always brutal, and you know, we're going to lighten this up.
Yeah.
All right.
Because
I need a drink.
Because, you know,
It's hard, you know?
yeah,
It's hard.
sometimes you got to tell folks what's going on, but damn. Men's Health magazine has pulled a tweet about how to talk about sports with women. Claiming she sees the game differently than you. It linked an article about how women don't care about how sports stats go. They want to see a storyline to follow. Rosie, you want to handle this, please?
Yes, Men's Health magazine, I appreciate that you took back your tweet, but how stupid of you. Okay? Sorry. It was such an insult to women. It was such an insult to women, to their intellect, to their love of sports. I've been loving sports forever.
Yeah.
And I know a large group of women all around the world that love sports as well. And this is the problem. This sexism holds women back from wanting to participate in sports. And this is why I'm angry about it. Yeah, you know, when I go to the Boxing Hall of Fame in upstate New York,
What do you see?
women.
Yeah.
Yes, we see men there, but we see a lot of women. Oh, there goes the Boxing Hall of Fame right there. Those are the group of women that went up there and they saw my picture and they're like right on Rosie.
Yeah.
And you know, you know, and it's an insult to the women, the sports commentators on ESPN and Fox Sports News and NBC Sports, and the list can go on and on.
Women make up the largest numbers of decision when it comes to buying season tickets for any sport. Women are the final decision
Yes, it was just idiotic and stupid. And you know what? If you want money for sports, respect women. Thank you.
There you go. You know, an article in The Atlantic looks back at the history and the duties of the First Lady, talking about respect, folks. You might not know that the First Lady does not get paid a penny for their duties. Now, I don't know. I just kind of think with all the stuff they end up having to do, shouldn't you give them a stipend or something?
Listen, I'm obsessed.
Minimum wage, maybe?
I'm obsessed with this idea of needing a woman president because I'm as obsessed with seeing what a first dude would be like. As Rosie knows, I've written 3 novels about a fictional female president, at least in part so that I can write about a fictional first dude.
Yes.
Because these are the books I've written, but I think that when we have a...
They're very good.
Available on Amazon.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Like
Okay,
everything.
go ahead.
But I think that until we have a first dude and we see how much slack we cut him, he won't have to give up his day job. He won't have to pick China. He won't have to go on the crummy trips on really long flights on the lesser airplane. I mean, I'm telling you, it is a very hard job. And it's not just the women like Michelle Obama and Hillary Clinton who have big, booming, successful careers. Laura Bush, Nancy Reagan, they did really, really important things for all over the world.
Lady Bird Johnson.
Right, Lady Bird Johnson.
The beautification of America is directly because of her. Because she said, Linda.
In every state.
And Eleanor Roosevelt.
This is not attractive. There's too much dirt here. Put some flowers up in here, over here, and over here, and over here.
Yes.
And we did. And that's why we have gorgeousness when occasionally, when you look out your window, you see the flowers and see all the great
Not only
stuff.
the flowers, too, but as you said, Eleanor Roosevelt, what she did for the poor was outstanding. And she was doing that before she married. Before she married.
That's right. You know. That's right. And you know, we just lost 2 really great legends of entertainment and in the arts in the last 24 hours. Rosie, tell us about one.
Oh, Marion Seldes, and she liked people pronounce her Seldes. But I always called her Marion Seldes. Unbelievable. Tony Award winner. She was 88 years old, and she died peacefully in her house, and she was really amazing. Holds the Guinness Book for never missing a performance.
That's right.
Did 1,700 performances in a row over 4 years.
Wow.
She was just amazing, and a teacher at Juilliard. Taught Patti LuPone, William Hurt. Phenomenal woman, and a queen of the American theater.
Yes.
Who else? Well,
We also have to say goodbye to dancer, choreographer, actor, composer, painter, artist, the fabulous Jeffrey Holder. And if you're not sure who, call a nut, uncall a nut. You know, look it up. He was an extraordinary man, and when I talked to his son, he said, my father is dancing his solo into tomorrow.
Oh, beautiful.
And so I say, rock on, Jeffrey Holder, baby, you were the...
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Keep on down the road.
American Horror Story star Sarah Paulson.
Americans infected with Ebola virus being treated in the States right now, and people are freaking out. So we're going to get the facts from a man who just got back from Africa. He's fine. Y'all don't look nervous, but we're letting the audience at home know he knows what he's doing because he used to be with CDC. This is the fabulous ABC News Chief Health and Medical Editor, Dr. Rich Besser. Rich. All right. People are freaking out.
Yeah.
Tell us everything we need to know in a nutshell about. Can I catch it from you right now?
You can't catch it from me right now.
Why not?
Well, a number of reasons. One is the thing about Ebola that's critically important is you cannot spread this disease. The first symptom you get is fever. And even then, you're not going to spread it. It's not until things are coming out of both ends that you're sharing it, and then you're out of circulation.
Okay.
How terrifying was it for the zone out for us? For you to go.
Well, this was my second trip. The first time I went, when I got back, my son greeted me with a blanket over his head. And he said, 16, and he said, you know, hi, Dad. And then he loosened up. This time, I mean, they know that I'm an infectious disease guy. I used to be a disease detective. You don't see on TV the precautions we're taking. You know, I didn't shake a hand from the time I left Newark Airport before I went till I got back to Newark Airport at the end. For like 10 days, I didn't touch a person. I didn't go into a single build suit. There were 3 people who dressed me in that to make sure that every speck of skin was covered. There was somebody watching me to make sure I did everything properly in and out. And that was the safest place to be.
Right.
So, and then everywhere else, we're being constantly sprayed down with bleach. So I was taking incredible precautions to make sure that I didn't become the story.
Right.
This is the second time you were in the hot zone. I'm sorry.
No.
Second time you were in the hot zone, and they're saying that like half of the country could die. Is that realistic?
If the world doesn't rally around, this is going to be a humanitarian catastrophe like we've never seen. The reason I went, and the reason I went back, is we need to bear witness to this. We need to show people what this is. It's not just about a man in Texas who has Ebola. It's about a whole part of the world that is being undermined by this disease, and the international community is not doing enough.
You know, I said last week mistakenly that it was curable. It's not curable, but it's treatable, right?
Well,
so this man in Dallas,
yeah.
what are they doing for him?
So, even in Africa, it's not universally fatal. I went to this hospital, and they were providing care that was unbelievable. In that setting, it was a 50-50 shot. All right, half the people walked out of there, and a lot of them were healthcare workers, and they were being put to work helping care for people in that ward. In Texas, unfortunately, this man is in critical condition. He's not doing very well. He's getting one experimental drug, but
the Z-Tap or
well, he's not getting ZMAP, and people were saying, you know, how come this guy's not getting the good stuff? Right?
The
reason is there is none. There is none. There was enough to treat like 7 people. So there were 4.
Folks in Atlanta
there were 4
got
people
that,
4 people in Liberia got it. The person in Atlanta got it. Somebody got it in. The 2 people in Atlanta got it, and the guy in Spain. And I think 4 out of the 7 or 5 out of the 7 survived.
Why can't they make more?
That drug, It's incredibly hard to manufacture. They're working on it. It's grown in a tobacco plant. So they've done genetic modification to grow this drug in a plant. It's going to take months to get more. And the reason that there isn't more is that no one really cared about treating Ebola. You know, it's this disease that takes place in rural Africa. So no drug company was going to move these forward, and no one was paying for it. But now everyone wants the drugs.
Is it true that they're running out of supplies to protect themselves, and that people are actually, the profiteers are raising the price on the gloves and the...
They're running out of a lot of equipment. When I was in Liberia the first time, I went to a ward, and they were actually making their own protective gear. They were cutting holes into other pieces so they could be protected. It was unbelievable.
Richard, I have to say, and I'm hoping that we can rally folks to, you know, you want to help? Yeah. Get some of these. If you got gloves and stuff laying around your house, you got bandages, whatever you got, and there has to be a way for us to help this. Because if we don't stop it there, we're in deep, deep, deep doo-doo. It's got to be stopped.
Is AmeriCares in there? AmeriCares, are they in there?
I don't know. And you know, if you've got some pocket change and can give it to some of these groups, that would help too.
I think that's a fantastic idea. We love you, Richard Benson. Come back anytime.
I will.
We'll be right back.
American Horror Story freak show star Sarah Paulson is about to...
Beautiful scares me too much. I can't. No.
So
I'm not a horror person.
So my husband said last night, I made him watch it with me, he said, well, I guess the only thing worse than playing a Republican is playing a two-headed woman. And everything else. And I was like, oh.
Well, it might be true.
Maybe, right?
I think it might be true.
Now, you know these two, she played her in the movie about the whole Palin McCain election. And had you met before you did it?
No, I had not met you. I wanted to meet you so badly, and they kept us separated. I think they didn't want you to be in any more hot water or anything like that.
That's right. I was in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you were in a lot of trouble at that time, and I think he was, Jay Roach in particular, was trying to protect you from...
But we have a clip.
Oh, you do?
Yes, we have a clip of the movie.
How to talk. I am not your puppet. Now I understand what Hillary meant when she said she had to find her own voice.
Yeah, because you're just like Hillary. You're like the outside crazy.
You have ruined me. You have ruined my reputation. I am ruined in Alaska.
It makes me sweat.
I bet it does.
It's been years, and it makes me sweat.
I am not your puppet. It was like my favorite thing.
And I really said to her,
was she mad?
Well, yes, she was furious. That was not a dramatic interpretation of events.
That was a documentary?
Yeah, that was. But what I did say to her was, because you're just like Hillary Clinton. And she thought I was serious and was like, yeah.
That's not what, no, that's not what
I wish you had just said to her, no more wire. Because that's what she sounded like to me.
True.
That's how strange it is. But you know what, baby? I loved Game Changer. If you haven't seen it, you can find it on demand. It's fantastic. But, baby, let's talk about American Horror Story. Because, you know, you played a two-headed woman. There's a woman with 3 breasts.
Yep, that would be Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett. There's a little teeny-weeny lady, beautiful lady, who had been on The View as the world's smallest woman, and she's fabulous. What are you finding this season that you never had in the first 3? Because you've been in all of them.
I have an extra head is the main difference. That's the main thing. I don't know. I love doing the show so much because it's really like a repertory theater company. It's the same group of actors every year, playing entirely different people. So from an acting standpoint, every year I get to do something different. And I mean, if you ever thought I would be playing a person with 2 heads, I mean, wearing a pantsuit was enough in Game Changer. I mean, the big stretch for me. This is obviously.
I love what you said about this, though, and I thought you were kidding till I watched it. It does have a pretty profound meaning. You talked about how it's about the little bit of freedom freak in all of us and in society.
In society, and also just, it's really about the forgotten people of the world and how they are able to form their own community and find a family and a home when they've been discarded.
There's a great book called Geek Love.
Yes, there is.
Yes, that's about that. It reminds me of that, too.
Yeah.
And the book scared me as well.
Now,
Wow,
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates has a beard.
In a beard.
Bearded woman.
Yeah.
It is so fabulous. You have to see. You can't even believe how fantastic this is.
I just have to ask you about Game Change again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
I'm sorry, and please don't hate me about Sarah Palin and things, but what did you learn from Nicolle about Sarah Palin?
Well,
anything? I know you weren't supposed to meet.
No, but I did as much research, so, really, of you, but behind the scenes, because I wasn't playing public Nicolle. I was playing Nicolle in private as she was dealing with all this stuff. I can't believe I'm talking about this and you're sitting right here. It's so bizarre. Nicolle. But I think what I really learned was how to be a person under pressure who has grace and dignity. And I often, it's really true, because every time I would shoot a scene where Sarah Palin was driving me nuts, I, as Sarah Paulson, wanted to take her by the throat and shake her violently. And Jay Roach was always like, Nicolle, just, that's not what she did. She would try to keep the peace, and she believed, I think, until the very end, that this could maybe be possible. And
You're
so
too
I
nice.
just,
You're
it's
too
true.
nice. She was an improvement on the real me.
I don't think that's true.
I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy that you're here. You have to come back.
I'd love to come back. I've never been here before. I love being here.
Exactly. Our thanks to Sarah Paulson. American Horror Story Freak Show premieres tomorrow night on FX, and members of our audience are going home with the DVD of Season 3. We'll be right back.
Whether you're on Team Luke or Team Deacon, Will Chase has an early Christmas gift for every...
If they could fit in, please welcome Will Chase.
And my favorite part of the storyline is the love triangle, because I think people are rooting for your character, but some people are rooting for Deacon.
Yeah, some people are...
Oh, some people, yeah. So yeah, we have that option. You can turn your back.
Well, some people are rooting for me, and a lot of people are rooting for... Oh, there we go.
For you. There you go. There you go. In politics, that's called pandering, but we'll let it go.
Raina didn't sound so sure in that last clip, did she?
Yeah.
But it really runs deep. I mean, we have fans that are really my family, my kids. They were actually... I didn't know what I was. I didn't know if I was Team Luke or Team Deacon.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, okay.
Yes. My kids have on the Team Luke, and I'm on the I'm in Team Deacon, so it's very confusing.
Yeah, I mean, Deacon's very sympathetic.
Yes.
Yes, he is. Well, you were on Smash.
Yes.
And you sang there.
I did sing there.
Is it different for you singing on this show?
Yeah, I mean, Smash, what we tried to do is we'd be sitting there going, hey, Rosie, how are you today? And you'd say,
I'm fine, how are you?
see?
Wait, more.
And that would be a scene on Smash. On our show, it's a little more practical singing. We sing at concerts, we sing at the recording studio. But it's a lot of fun. We have great writers in Nashville, of course, the best songwriters in the world.
Yeah, and what's weird, you know, I'm from Brooklyn.
Right on.
I don't know if you could tell.
I could not at all.
Yeah.
I don't hear it. I don't hear it.
But I love country music.
Weird.
Why is it weird?
Well, because I grew up in Kentucky and didn't listen to any country at all. Thank you,
See,
Mom and
that's
Dad.
weird
No, I'm
too.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Right?
That way, it's very weird, but I fell into it late, and, you know, my parents still live right up the road in Kentucky, so it seeps its way down, and it fits. I like it.
Right.
But you've also spent time on Broadway, right?
Yes.
I have spent a little time on the Broadway. I've gotten to do a lot of
That's something I would
things.
say, the Broadway.
The Broadway.
Because I don't know anything about
yeah,
Broadway.
I've been very fortunate to get to do a lot of rock and roll, a lot of standards. I add country to the list, and I'm really having a blast.
And you have a Christmas album coming.
We do. We have a Christmas album that drops November 4th with all your favorite Nashville singers. Yeah, it's great because we tend to go and watch each other play. All the cast play out. Charles Eston, your favorite. Yes, go ahead. Sam Palladio, but everybody plays out and plays live, and a lot of original stuff. Chip had an original song in the opening episode, so we really have a blast together.
Well, and you tweet a lot, right?
Yes.
And you just tweeted out a picture from yourself in first grade, right?
Oh, right.
We have
yes.
that. Right?
I don't
And
know.
we follow you on Twitter. Right? See, I think you can destroy Deacon with this picture because this is. So I think that your character has to show some childhood pictures. Because then I think Deacon has sympathy going for him. But I think if you shared some of your
walked around with that one,
I mean, I think you would.
That's first grade. My mother made that hat and those overalls. And I had a friend who said that they saw that picture and they said I looked like a hillbilly Dutch boy. You remember the Dutch? It's uncanny.
Oh,
it's uncanny.
Wow. It's uncanny, but you know what? I love the show. It's like an American telenovela. I think it's fabulous. There's so much sex and steaminess. I can't stand it. You know, our thanks to Will Chase. You could catch Nashville Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. right here on ABC. And members of our studio audience are going home with season 2.
Mary Lou stops by to help us talk about some. Welcome, Betsy Johnson and Tony Dovolani. Well, hi. Oh, how do you feel, Betsy? What happened? You got hurt?
Yeah, we were doing one of the lifts, and when we were doing the lift, she kind of came out of it a little. Really, I was going this way, and she was going that way.
Yeah.
And her rib gave in. So last week, we actually danced with an injury. She did a really good job. I was very proud of her. She didn't want to complain. She didn't want to, she's like, I'll do it. Doesn't matter what.
I was so into the show. Oh, my God. Changed my life.
You loved it.
Loved it.
Tell me why.
Because, first of all, I got to love L.A.
Yeah.
And my family, who I've lived with my every second of my life, they're moving to L.A. So I'm like, whoa. And I loved LA.
You like it out there.
I like it.
And they love you, don't they?
Yeah, I was very happy. Malibu won't be bad.
Yeah, can't complain about that.
Yeah, it was just like a simple schedule. No Garmento, no New York work, no New York pace, no New York nothing. No New York dance. Sorry, I'm all talking. Was to Ghost.
Ah.
We were there. We danced to Unchained Melody. One of the greatest songs ever.
Yeah.
Righteous Brothers was a
And Betsy, you dedicated your last dance to your daughter. That was a beautiful moment. Talk about that.
Oh, I was, they had themes every week, and I was really hoping that my day, that I could do a Lulu theme, because it just had to be like that. Yeah. Absolutely. And,
Or Tivoli.
Yes, I actually
How
did.
could you do this? This is the world-famous Betsy Johnson.
Can
we just talk about that extension?
Yeah. Do it,
And she didn't look like she was like
frozen.
I wanted to make sure that America got to see a couple of different sides of Betsy, and we were happy to make it all the way to week 4, so that was pretty good.
And we live. Love you. We love when we see you. We love you when we see you, and it's fantastic you were here. We love you guys. Thank you to everybody. Take a little time to